When they come on iterative statement, there are three types. One is while loop, second one do while loop, and the third one is for loop. Before executing the statement, first it will check the condition. That's why it is called as pre-tested looping. Armstrong number is nothing but when you perform cube of each and every digit and then we have to add. If we get the original number, then it can be called as Armstrong number. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in computer science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, we are going to start with third session of control statements. In the previous session, you have studied regarding if-else-if statement, that is how to write the syntax, flowchart, as well as example regarding that you studied. Then, what do you mean by nested if statement, how to write, how to predict that. Then with that, switch statement. On switch statement, how to write the flowchart, syntax, as well as example. Whereas in today's class, you will study regarding iterative construct or looping. What do you mean by iteration or looping concept? Whereas iteration is nothing but a repetition. When you want to execute some statement again and again, on that time we are using iteration statement. Under that, you will come to know regarding what do you mean by while loop, how to represent the while loop, then do while loop, the difference between while loop and do while loop. With that, you will study regarding for loop, how to write the for loop, what is the difference between while loop, do while loop, as well as for loop. First, we will discuss about what do you mean by iterative construct or looping concept. Whereas iterative statements are the statements that are used to repeatedly execute set of statements again and again. It mainly used when you want to execute the statements repeatedly again and again. Down that time, we are using iterative structure. Whereas iterative structure are the statements that are used to repeatedly execute a sequence of statements until some condition is satisfied or given number of times. How many times I want, that many times I can able to display that statement again and again. Or I can say that particular condition satisfied, till that this statement will execute. The process of repeating execution of a sequence of statement until some condition is satisfied is called iteration or repetition or looping, we can say. We can say iteration method or repetition method, or we can say it is a looping also. Iterative statements are also called it as repetitive statement or looping statements. When they come on, there are three types of iterative statement. One is while loop, do while loop, and one more is for loop. When they come on iterative statement, there are three types. One is while loop, second one do while loop, and the third one is for loop. Now, one by one we'll discuss. First, we'll discuss about while loop. What exactly this while loop is called? When they come on while loop, this while loop is also called as pre-tested looping. Pre-tested means before executing the statement, it will check the condition. Later on, it will go to execute the statement. For example, first it will check the condition. If this condition is true, then only it will go to execute the statement. If it is false, then it just exit here. After executing the statement, once again it will go back to check the condition. That's what is called as pre-tested looping. It means that before executing the statement, first it will check the condition. That's why it is called as pre-tested looping. This is also called as pre-tested looping structure. This structure checks the condition at the beginning of the structure. In the beginning itself, it will check the condition. The set of statements are executed again and again until the condition is true. First time it will check the condition. If it is true, it will execute the statement. After executing the statement, once again it will go back to the loop. If it is true, then once again the statement will execute. Like this loop will continue until the particular condition satisfied. Once the condition is failed, then it will come out from the loop here. When the condition becomes false, control transferred out of the structure here. It just come out from the loop here. Then when we come on while loop, the flowchart to represent that, first we have test condition. If it is true, then it will going to execute the statement. After executing the statement, once again it will go back to check the condition. If you observe here, we are sure that in upward direction, it means that here it will going to check the condition once again, and here it check the condition, then it will going to execute the statement as long as the condition is true. Once the condition is false, it exits the while loop. It just come out from the loop here. This is regarding while loop. Then when we come on the general structure, syntax of while loop, first we have to write the keyword while. Then inside the bracket, you have to write the test condition. Whatever condition you want, you can write. Then inside the flower bracket, you have to write statements. Whichever statement you want to display, write down all the statement. Then this closing flower bracket indicates the end of the while loop. Then here, how many statements you want, you can write. And all the statements are terminated with semicolon. Then close that. For example, first here we initializing n equals 10. For example, consider we initialize it n equals 10. Then while n is greater than or equals to 0, we have to print that n value. Then already we initialize it, n value is 10. It will come and check the condition, n is greater than 0. Then what happens? It will enter to the loop. Here it will execute the value. That is, first it will display 10. Then afterwards, n value, n minus minus we are given. It means that now n is decreases. After decreasing, once again it will go back to the loop. Now in the previous case, n is 10. Now it become 9. Condition it will check. 9 is greater than 0. Then what happens? Once again it will execute the value. In between we are written /t. It means that it will going to leave tab space here. Then it will display the value 9. Then once again n size decreases. Then once again now n become 8. Then it will enter to the loop. Then once again it is greater than 0. It will display the value till what exactly the n contains. Then up to 1 it will execute. Then afterwards now n value becomes 0. It will come and check the condition. Then condition not satisfied, it will come out from the loop. It means that here we are open the while loop and here we are closing the while loop. That is end of while loop here. It means that here before executing the statement, we will check the condition and then we'll execute the statement. It means that if you observe, first end the while loop with /n. What will be the output? First we will display 10, 9, 8, up to 1 it will display. Then once n value becomes 0, that will come out from the loop. It means that under while loop, what is another name of while loop? It is called as pre-tested looping statement. Then how to write the flow chart, then syntax and then example. Next we will discuss about do while statement. What exactly this do while statement states? First do the statement or display the statement, later on check the condition. First it will execute the statement. After executing the statement, then it will check the condition. If this condition is true, then once again it will go back to execute the statement. As long as the condition is true, this statement will execute again and again. Once the condition is false, then it will come out from the loop here. It means that here first it will execute the statement, later on it will check the condition. That's why this do while loop is called as post-tested looping structure. Post-tested means after executing only it will check the condition. That's why it is called as post-tested looping. This structure check the condition at the end of the structure. At the end only it will check the condition. The set of statements are executed again and again until the condition is true here. It means that until the condition is true, till that the statement will execute again and again. When the condition become false, the control transferred out of the structure here. Once if it is false, it will come out from the loop here. When we come on the syntax and example, if you observe the flowchart, first here it will execute the statement. After executing, it will check the condition. If condition is true, then once again it will go back to display the statement. As long as the condition is true, the statement will execute again and again. Once the condition is false, then later on it will come out from the loop here. It means that here first it will go to execute the statement, later on it will go to check the condition. That's why it is called as do while statement. When we come on the general syntax, first you have to use the keyword while. Before, whereas in while loop we used to write while, whereas in do while, first we have to use the keyword do. Then later on, how many statements you want, you can write. With each statement must and should end with a semicolon. All the things you have to end with semicolon. Then here while, then write in the test condition here also at the end also. Once again you have to put semicolon. It means that if you observe in while loop, we are not going to put any semicolon for while. But for do while, at the end, here we will put semicolon. For example, here for initializing I value is 2. On that case, we are mentioning do process. Do this process. What is the process? Now, I value, we have to display that. Now, in the beginning, I value it will display 2. Then, it will leave some space. Then, I will increment by 2. Now, I value become, in the beginning, it become 2. Now, it become 4. Then, it will come here while I is less than or is equal to 10. Check the condition. If it is satisfied, once again, it will go back to execute the statement until I is less than or equals to 25. Whereas in while loop, at the end we are not putting any semicolon, whereas in do while, at the end we have to put semicolon. Now is it clear? Next, we are going to explain this with an example program. Consider, write a program to check whether the given number is Armstrong number using do while statement. What do you mean by this Armstrong number? Whatever number we are going to give, when we perform cube of each and every digit, then we have to get the Armstrong number. For example, consider 153. Each digit, first digit will perform cube, plus second digit will perform cube, then third digit and with that will perform cube. Each and every digit we have to perform cube and then we have to add. If the result once again, if we get the original one, then it can be called as Armstrong number. Here if you calculate, once again the result will be 153. Then we used to say that 153 is an Armstrong number. For example, if I am going to give 12, n value if I am going to give 12, then we will check whether it is an Armstrong number or not. Then what is the value? 1 cube plus 2 cube. Then when we add 1 plus 2 cube, that is 2 to the 2 into 2 into 2. 3 times we have to perform. On that time we are going to get 8. Then when we add 9, then this is not an Armstrong number. Now is it clear? It means that Armstrong number is nothing but when we perform cube of each and every digit and then we have to add. If we get the original number, then it can be called as Armstrong number. By using do while, how to write the program regarding that? Now we will explain. For example, first as usual, iostream.h header file we are using. By this, we can use cin as well as cout function. Next, --include conio.h. This is supporting header file for clear screen as well as getcs function. Then next, as usual, we'll start with a void main. That's a main program. Then here, we are declaring the variable, all the variable of type integer. The first variable we are given as num. Second variable remainder, for that rem. Then to store the result sum. For temporary purpose, temp variable. Then clear screen, enter 3 numbers. In the output screen, what it will display? In the output screen, it will go to enter 3 numbers, it will display or enter 3 digits. Then afterwards, cin extraction operator number. Then we have to input. For example, 153 we will input. Then what it will perform? After that, whatever value for number we are given, that will move to temporary place. Now, in the temp also, we have the value 153. Then we will initialize sum equals 0. then we will say that do the process. It means that in number as well as in temp, we have the same value, as well as in sum, we are initialize it as 0. We are doing the process remainder equals temp percentage 10. It means that if I am going to use percentage symbol, then what we can get, 153 will divided by 10. On that time, we are going to get the remainder. Here 150 I am getting, the remainder is 3. It means that to collect the last digit, we have to perform temp rem equals temp percentage 10. It means that to get the remainder. Then here sum equals, already we are initialized sum equals 0. That's why sum equals 0 plus first last digit whichever we are taking, that digit remainder into remainder into remainder. Then afterwards, here the quotient we have to get, that is one, whatever number we have, the quotient, that is 15. To get this quotient, here temp equals temp divided by 10. Then I can get 15. Like this. Then while temp is not equals to 0, till that this process will continue. That is first time it will take 0 plus 3 into 3 into 3. Then once again this result plus 5 into 5 into 5, here it will take. Then once again plus 1 into 1 into 1 it will take. Like this it will perform. This loop will continue until the condition satisfied. If sum equals, because in sum as well as in num, we have the same result. If sum equals num, then it will display that number is an Armstrong number. Else but that number is not an Armstrong number, it will display. Then we will close this main program which I opened here. It means that by using while loop also we can write the same program. By using do while also we can write the same program. Now is it clear? It means that we can able to write the program by using do while concept also. When they come on the difference between while loop and do while loop is called as pre-tested and do while is called as post-tested looping. Whereas it tests the given condition in initial point of the looping structure, whereas here at the last, especially at the last of the looping structure, that is end of the looping structure. Minimum execution is 0 here, because in the beginning itself, if the condition is wrong, not even single time the statement will execute. Whereas here minimum one time the statement will execute if the condition is wrong in the beginning itself. If you observe here, first itself it will check the condition. If it is wrong, not even single time the statement will execute. Whereas here first it will going to execute the statement, later on it will check the condition. That's why if the condition is wrong in the beginning itself, then also minimum one time the statement will execute. And the general syntax while test condition statement. Here we don't have any semicolon, but when we come on do while, at the end we have semicolon. Then semicolon is not used, whereas here semicolon is used. This is a major difference between while loop and do while loop. Because in the exam, you may have to get the question. Write the difference between while loop and do while loop. Then minimum 5 points you have to write, because usually this is a 5 marks question. Next we will discuss about for statement. What do you mean by this for statement? This for statement is also called as fixed execution statement. Why it is called as fixed execution? Because in the beginning itself we can able to predict how many times the statement will execute again and again. That's why it is called as fixed execution. Here, this structure is called as fixed execution structure. This structure is usually used when we know in advance exactly how many times as a set of statement is to be repeatedly executed again and again. In advance only we can know how many times the statement will execute again and again. That's why it is called as fixed execution. This structure can be used as increment looping or decrement looping structure also. We can able to increment as well as decrement the variable here. Next we will discuss about the for statement Under that, when we come on general structure of for statement, in for statement, we have three expression 1, 2 as well as 3. Whereas in expression 1, it indicates the initial value. What will be the initially we are initializing here. And expression 2 contains the final value, as well as the expression 3 indicates whether it is a incrementing or it is a decrementing. It means that in the same statement, we can able to initialize the value. For example, I equals 1, here we are initializing the first part, that is expression 1, and expression 2 the final value, whether I is less than or equals to 10, and the third expression indicates whether it's a incrementing or it is a decrementing. If it is incrementing, then we used to write plus plus. If it is decrementing, then we used to write minus minus. Inside the flower bracket, we will write all the statement. Statement 1, 2, 3, all the statement. How many number of statements you want, you can write here. It means that in the same line itself, we can able to mention the initial value, final value, as well as incrementing or decrementing. And here, in the beginning itself, we can predict how many times that statement will execute. That's why it is called as fixed execution. If you observe the flow chart here, for CV equals IV to FV, whereas CV stands for control variable and IV stands for initial value and FV stands for final value. First, it will check the initial value, then it will execute the statement, and the control variable, once again, it will go back to check the condition, and then it will execute the statement as long as the condition here it will satisfy. Here, if you observe, expression 1 indicates the initialization, expression 2 indicates the condition, and expression 3 indicates whether it's incrementing or decrementing. In this example, for example, sum equals 0 initializing. Here, for I value, we initialized 1, I is less than 10, and I equals to 10 also, I plus plus. Then some value will take, first time 0, 0 plus I, 1 it will take. Then once again, it will go to the loop, then plus 2, because here it is incrementing. Then up to 10, it will add the sum value. It means that plus up to 10, the process will continue here. It means that for loop is called as fixed execution. Now we'll explain this for loop with one example program. For example, here we want to find the factorial of a given number by using for loop. Then what do you mean by factorial? For example, if I'm going to write 5, then 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That way to calculate here. Then that is nothing but factorial of a given number. For example, if I'm going to write 3, then what will be the factorial of this 3? 3 into 2 into 1. That it has to calculate. For that, as usual, first we will start with the header file. #include iostream.h. This is the supporting header file for scene as well as cout. Then next, #include conio.h. This is a supporting header file for clear screen as well as getCS function. Then we'll start with the main program, void main. In this void main, we are going to start the main program. In the first, we have to declare the variables. Here we are declaring the variables of type integer. 3 variables we are declaring. One is num and one more is fact and one more is I. Then next, we are taking the clear screen. Then in the output screen, we want to display enter the number. In the output screen, it has to display enter the number. Then afterwards, we have to input that number, see in extraction operator number. For example, here I will enter 5. Then first here we initializing fact value equals 1, and first time it will take the fact equals 1. Then in the for loop, we have mentioned I equals 1. First time it will take it as 1. Then I is less than or equals to number. Till that, the process has to continue, and I plus plus we are given. Now when entered to the loop, fact value equals fact into fact I. Here if you observe in the beginning, for fact we initialize it as 1. Then what will be the calculation? Fact equals. Here we initialize it, that is 1 into. First it will take for I 1. Then once again it will go back to the loop. It will check the condition whether I is less than or equals to number. Then here in this case we are given as 5. Then condition satisfied, it will enter to the loop once again. Now I become 2. Then once again, it will execute the statement. Then once again, it will go back to the loop and then it will check the condition satisfied. Now I equals 1 into 1 into 2 into 3 now. Then once again into 4, next into 5. It means that until the number, whichever number we are given, till that this factorial we can able to find out. Once the condition not satisfied, once it is 6, then it will come out from the loop. Then finally it will display the value, the fact of a number. The fact of a 5 is, it will display the result here. It means that by using for statement also, we can able to find the factorial. By using while loop also, as well as do while loop also, we can able to find the factorial. But the main thing is, by using all these 3, we can able to execute the statement again and again. Then in the next class, you will come to know regarding some of the control statements. Under that, if else, if nested as well as switch. With that, you will come to know regarding jump statement. Whereas a jump statement helps to jump from one part of the program to another part of the program, like break, exit, go to, continue. Regarding that, you will come to know in the next session. Thank you for all of you.